think I also have a thought about myself that I cannot construct a sentence which is how do I say this? Means sophisticated, or maybe which will sound good.
Sophisticated would be there, yeah.
Yeah.
Sophisticated is the correct word to say.
Hmm.
Fine. All right. Okay. I think most of your problems are pertaining to confidence then. It's just about that you're not gaining enough confidence to speak in the language, even though you know that you can speak in the language. Right?
Right.
So
Right.
that's that. I think that might be happening because you think that the other person is going to point out that you're making a mistake. So try to see, one thing I tell people, especially the beginners in general, is that um, when you are speaking, you are overly concerned about your own speech, right? You're constantly thinking, am I speaking properly or not? Am I making
Exactly.
any sort of mistakes or not? Did the other person notice or not? So, as selfish as you are, the person talking to you is also that selfish and self absorbed, right? So they are constantly thinking about their mistakes. They're
Okay.
constantly thinking who they want to talk next, especially in corporate environments. People don't pay full attention ever. So they are very self-absorbed in general. They're thinking about what I am going to reply and how I am going to reply. So
Right.
if anything, they won't notice your mistake till the point that you don't highlight your own mistake. So when you make some small error, right, don't stick to it or don't try to correct it multiple times or like apologize for it continuously. Don't do that. Try to move on to the next sentence or try to rephrase that sentence entirely without speaking anything, right? So for example, if I'm talking and I end up saying that, um, hmm, yeah, let's say the sentence was supposed to be, my dog is in the kennel, but I end up skipping the preposition in, right? My dog, the kennel. If I speak like this, right? I end up speaking like this. Now I know that I have made a mistake. So instead of continuously trying to correct that in word or try to multiple times say it or say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. We move to the next sentence. Just simply say, yeah, I left. So what I mean is that I left my dog in the kennel or I left my dog in the
Right.
shelter because I was busy. Move ahead with your sentence. The more you pertain to the like past sentence, the more people are going to notice that you've made an error,
Right.
right? So don't let them notice. That's one. Secondly,
Sorry.
understand that the other person is also self-absorbed, so that brings in a lot of confidence because we are like, ah, okay, the other person is also just thinking about their own mistakes, right? So these are two things when you're talking publicly, especially if you're in a situation where the other person, you are feeling that the other person knows more than you, right? And thirdly, always try to remember the point of English, the point of learning a language is to communicate fully in that language, to be able to express your point of view to another person and the other person understanding your POV, right? So it doesn't mean that you have to use difficult words. The other person can use as much vocabulary as they want, right? But if you're not able to understand it, then what's the use of such vocab? Right? Because
Yeah.
I have met a lot of people who think that difficult words are going to make them sound better. No, because I can understand because I'm very interested in learning new vocabulary. But if 100 other people are listening, not everyone is interested in vocabulary. They want to understand the point of your conversation, not that how
Correct.
good you can speak. I'm not condoning or I'm not saying that you don't have to learn vocabulary. Yes, go ahead and learn new words. It is going to help you in expressing yourself better. But
Right.
don't to sound better. If you're going to keep that in mind, then there is no end to English because you can go ahead and learn so many patterns of spells.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. There's no end.
Yeah. So try to focus on the fact that you want to communicate fully. You should be focusing that when I speak, does the other person fully understand me or not? If there is an error coming in that communication, that means you need to work more on the front of explaining yourself or keeping your point, right?
Hmm.
So it doesn't have to be by learning difficult words, right? I always tell people there is no use of knowing 100 words and then the other person not understanding your words, right?
Yeah,
Another thing
exactly.
I tell people is when you learn words, the reason most of the people are like, we learn so many words, but we forget. We are not able to use the vocab
Hmm.
that we learn on a daily basis. That's because people are not learning with context. You just simply see the word, you learn the meaning, and you're like, yeah, done. I will remember it. No, you won't. Your brain has
Hmm.
too many things to do, you're going to forget it, right? Rather try to learn one word but learn it with context. So for example, if you hear the word some uh, word that's new to you, try to make sentences with it. Try to see the examples of that word, right? That in how different ways, how many different ways that word is used. On
Used.
Google specifically, there are so many sentence examples of one word. Try to see in what context it's being used. That's why I tell people, when you want to learn spoken English, try to focus more on audio and video content, right? Everything that you learn in audio or video, one, you learn it with pronunciation. Second, our brain is wired in such a way that we will learn or remember that type of content for a longer run, right? Plus, you will learn in context. If you're watching a series and somebody uses a word, if you search the meaning, you will remember why this word was used in the movie or in the series. So it will be easier for you also to use it later, right? Now, I
Right.
understand people are like working in corporates. It's not possible to watch a 3 hour movie every day or watch a series on a daily basis. That's just not possible. We have too much work for that. Try to see
Yes.
one or two new videos every day, right? On YouTube, where the videos are short, right? So, for example, TEDx Talks. They are a great
Hmm.
way to learn more vocab, learn more content, what to speak on different topics for general conversation, especially. Um, Apart
Right.
from TEDx Talks, you have Speak English with Vanessa. That's a very good channel in terms of learning good vocab and learning general tips
Vanessa.
about English,
Yeah,
how to sound better.
I have this. I mean, I have subscribed her channel. Maybe
Right? She's made like a
sometimes.
lot of videos. Try to see that. Gravitas is a good program to watch. These are all on YouTube and these are all under 10-minute videos. So you can
Okay.
watch whenever you have time. I'll also share a link of British English Council where you
Sure.
can uh, practice from a lot of audios and videos. They have
Okay.
very good audio videos for practicing. So this should help you out in terms of where to learn, right?
Hmm.
So I hope this
Thank
helps. You can save it or something. I think the chat gets recorded, so it will be there only. I think. If you want, you can take a screenshot.
you.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah,
Alright,
sure.
okay. Any other doubts that you have?
Any other doubts? No, I don't have any other doubts.
Alright. Okay. Our topic for today is dreams, by the way. So if I discuss on that front, first of all, do you remember your dreams, whatever you see at night? Are you the person who's
Oh,
able to recall
we are
in the
talking.
morning?
I see. I mean, sometimes I see very weird kind of dreams,
Ah,
which are totally, unrealistic and that kind of dreams. And I don't. Whenever I see that kind of dreams, I don't put much attention on those dreams
ah,
because they are just useless and they just made me feel maybe uh, how to say means how to say this, not good. So
yeah.
I it
Make you feel
makes me,
uncomfortable.
yeah, uncomfortable. So I don't prefer to think about those dreams much, so I just
Hmm.
forget those.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
I
I can
thought,
understand.
yeah, I thought you were talking about the dreams means desires that we have.
Ah, goals as such. Right. So, what is your desire, current desire, by the way? Now that you have said it, I want to know.
Oh, okay. Current desire, one of the current desire is this one, to be fluent in English. And
Hmm. Okay. You speak very well, by the way. You don't make that many mistakes. I think you should work more on self-esteem right now. Try to work more on your
yeah,
confidence
yeah,
because
yeah,
you're
one of the,
talking to me. You're not making any grammatical mistakes. This is fluency. Now, I
but
know a lot
still
of Indian people think fluency means different accent. Because when we listen to Americans, when we listen to Indian people who can talk in that accent, we're like, yeah, this is fluency. No, that's not. Your own accent is your fluency. You can
no,
talk in your own accent and it's fine.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. But for me, fluency is something like you are not using any fillers, right? But I sometimes whenever I need to uh, go on talking for a
Mm.
longer period of time, I
Mm.
use so many fillers. So
Yeah.
I think that is something which is missing in my fluency. So that is what
That might
I
also be happening because your thoughts interfere with it. Because you're constantly thinking that I don't speak like other people.
yeah, I think you
So
have. I mean, the
that
root
makes you
cause is
forget
this
words.
one.
And if you forget one word, then you're like, हाँ देखा मुझे नहीं आता English मुझे पता था. So you are just reinforcing yourself in a
Yeah,
negative
yeah.
way, right? That's why I told you, if you forget one word, rephrase your sentence, move on to the next sentence or the next thing. I do this a lot of times where I'm like, oh, I can't remember. I'll talk about this later. But what else I wanted to say, then I go ahead with that. It's fine to do that. And it's
Yeah,
okay to take
exactly.
pauses if you're changing from one subject to another. So if you're using fillers when you are having a very long conversation, it's completely all right. Fillers are an issue if they are coming in every other sentence, and if it, within one conversation, within one topic, if you're taking like 4 or 5 fillers in
Hmm.
the time period of like 2 minutes, then it's an issue. Then it's like, yeah, we need to work upon it. But other than that, fillers are very normal, especially in informal conversation,
Yes,
right?
yes,
In
that's right.
formal conversation, we try to avoid it to sound more precise,
Hmm.
but that's that. But any other desires apart from English?
Yeah, I love singing and I have a singing YouTube channel. So I just want to grow it, means the
Oh, what
YouTube
do you
channel.
sing? Like,
But
what's your type? Classical music or Hindustani music? What do you listen?
no, no, not pure classical, semi-classical, you could say.
Semi classical. Ah,
Yeah,
so it's in Hindi. Like, you prefer Hindi or any other language?
mostly